All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining for our very first Corporate Vision Town Hall. If you're a current corporate member or partner in some way with the association, thank you. And if you haven't really engaged with the association yet before and are interested in hearing more about opportunities, thank you for joining as well. We're so happy to have you here. Some quick introductions before we jump right in. I'm Jamie Recio, Member Development Manager for the association. I started exactly about 1 year ago this week, and my role is to work with our members, sponsors, exhibitors, and advertisers. And today I'm joined by my colleague that some of you may already know, Joan Thomas, our Director of External Relations. So I'm going to just start with highlighting some ways in which you can get involved with the association as a corporate partner. This may not be new information to some, but I'll give a high-level overview, especially for those that may not be familiar yet. And if you want to hold on to any questions until the end or drop them in the chat, that would be great. So corporate membership, this is really where your involvement all begins. Currently, we have about 100 corporate members, and we're really starting to shift our language from corporate members to industry partners. So you might see that more in the future. Currently, there are 2 levels of corporate membership, corporate gold and corporate associate. One of the pieces of our strategic plan is to reevaluate corporate membership offerings and communications to build corporate member relationships. And because of that, we are always looking to provide our corporate members with more value, and we are looking at adding a mid-level tier of corporate membership in the next year or so. So stay tuned for more info on that. We do get asked fairly often what the difference is between the 2 corporate membership levels. Corporate Gold provides benefits for your entire staff. So when your company joins, everyone in the organization can be added to your roster and enjoy member benefits. It also includes a one-time use of our member email list per year. And that's a recent update, as it used to be the member physical address list, but we recently just changed that based on feedback that people weren't doing as many physical mailings, and email would be a better option. So the cost of that membership is $1,500 per year. Corporate associate membership provides benefits to a single individual within your company. So this is best for a small organization or maybe a one-person operation. And the cost of that membership is $250 per year. And yes, as a member, you do get to add this lovely proud member logo to your website. So what are some of the benefits of being a corporate member? Your company listing and link on our website, and I'll show you that next. The ability to network and share ideas with more than 20 professional online communities by different interest areas. Unlimited access to our online member directory. The benchmarking study results summary. Discounts on advertising. A subscription to Public Garden magazine. Member pricing for the annual conference and professional development programs. And a subscription to our monthly e-newsletter. And I did include the link here where you can see more about benefits and submit an application to join if you're ready, if you're not already a corporate member with us. Now, when I mentioned your company listing on our website, I was referring to our garden-friendly provider directory. The link is here if you want to check it out, but I just wanted to show you that this directory is on our public-facing website, and you can search by topic, company, location, or keyword, and this is just an example of how that looks. Okay, so moving on to another way we partner with organizations are affinity partnerships. These are some examples of our affinity partners that offer benefits to our members. And we're able to extend a number of great benefits to our members through these partners, including insurance, technology, product discounts, magazine subscriptions, software, and webinars. And we really have 2 types of affinity partnerships, member value added and income. For our member value added partners, that is a business partnership that provides pass-through member benefits to bring added value to association or garden membership in exchange for lead generation access. So that would be like our partnership with Better Homes and Gardens, where we're able to offer that our member gardens can provide a free magazine subscription to their new garden members. For our income partners, that's a business partnership that offers a special opportunity or service to association members and or their members. When people sign on with them, it generates a revenue stream for the association and sometimes the participating gardens. So an example of that would be our partnership with Mobile Cause. And every program is unique, so if you think that you might be a good candidate to work with us as an affinity partner, please feel free to reach out and let us know. Our annual conference. So we were really hoping to be in Fort Worth this year, but we recently made the decision to go virtual again. We're in the midst of planning the virtual annual conference now for June 7 to 10, if you want to mark those dates on your calendar. And so, you know, our 2020 virtual conference had over 1,300 attendees and over 5,000 post-conference video views, which is a great reach. So we're really pleased that people who may not have been able to travel can still have the chance to attend again. We've put together a suite of sponsorship opportunities for the conference and have just posted them on the conference website. Sponsorship opportunities range from about $2,000 to $50,000. So there's quite a range of options for everyone. And this list is really not final. We're open to adaptations and ideas. So if you're interested in being part of the annual conference, I'd recommend going through the list of opportunities and just check in with me if any catch your eye or if you have an idea that's maybe not on the list. For our virtual exhibitors this year, we're planning to do something different and have what we're calling Industry Insight Rapid Fire presentations, where exhibitors will have a few minutes to introduce themselves, talk about their product or service, and then set up times to chat one-on-one with attendees. As far as deadlines, they're coming up fairly quickly. We plan to open attendee registration on March 1st and would like to start including sponsor promotions in our emails by then. So please reach out if you're interested in conference sponsorships, and we'll be emailing out all that info as well. And while you're marking your calendars, we do already have our 2022 and 2023 dates scheduled. We're planning on Portland, Oregon, June 21st through 25th in 2022, and Fort Worth, Texas, June 5th through 9th, 2023. Okay, moving on to advertising in Public Garden Magazine. So the magazine reaches about 9,700 industry professionals through our print and digital versions that are published quarterly. The audience includes professionals from students to seasoned industry veterans. We have a number of advertising options, and you can choose to advertise in one or all of our magazines each year. They're published in February, May, August, and November. And you do receive a discount on advertising if you're a corporate member or if you purchase multiple ads at once. So in this new virtual world, we are doing much more virtual professional development, which means that we have a number of new ways in which our partners can sponsor content. If you look at our event calendar on the website, you'll see that we have quite a few virtual events on the schedule. We hold monthly association lunch and learns for 30 minutes, and those can be sponsored for $375. Any of our hour-long association webinars can be sponsored for $750. And our association workshops, which are typically about 2 to 3 hours, can be sponsored for $1,500. We do have options to sponsor some of our educational symposia, and the options range from $750 to $4,000. Now about industry insights presentations. So this is a unique opportunity for our corporate partners to create and provide their own content and present it to our members. We have 2 slots available per month for these, and you must be a corporate member to host. These start at $2,500 and increase if you may want to do a branded webinar series, for instance. Scholarships and fee waivers are something we can do if a sponsor wants to lower the costs for attendees to register or provide scholarships for people to register as well. For example, right now, if you go into our website, you can see that Blackbaud is sponsoring the Development and Membership Symposium and providing a reduction to the rate attendees have to pay to register. And that's being promoted on the registration page as well. Joan, was there anything else you wanted to add about fee waivers?
We've created an adjunct to what you may have recognized as our scholarship program that provided full package scholarships for in-person conferences or symposia, which we're still offering when we have in-person events again, which we hope to do by the end of this calendar year. We created when we went with our new virtual learning platform and really unpackaged a lot of things that normally you would only just see during the conference. We were able to untether that and create a lot of virtual learning opportunities. But we also realized that there were some need to address scholarship or underwriting for registration fees to create more accessibility for our members. That was different from the scholarship program that we had. So we created for things that are of a certain content and higher, basically 2+ hours to like half days and beyond. For those virtual events, we wanted to offer a fee waiver application. So those that wish to desire to get 100% waiver or 50% waiver could apply for that consideration. And we've piloted this with our new virtual symposium that's coming up next month for development and membership, in which we're providing X number of waiver scholarships. And the idea is that there may be an interest for an organization that wants to promote accessibility to be willing to underwrite a certain number of those and then have that be promoted along with the event itself as being that this company is providing this accessibility opportunity within our scholarship program. So you're kind of a champion of scholarship promotion in that respect.
Great, thank you. Okay, some of you may have been familiar with our previous initiative of National Public Gardens Week. It's now called Go Public Gardens. And this is the association's ongoing evergreen campaign to drive the public to visit, value, and volunteer at public gardens in their area and when they travel. The campaign will bring a special focus from the Friday before to the Sunday after Mother's Day, which is May 7th through 16th, 2021, called Go Public Gardens Days. The association gives special emphasis to promoting public engagement at gardens in the days and weeks leading up to and during Go Public Garden Days. And Joan, did you want to add some more about partnerships here?
Only to say that as we develop this national awareness initiative even further and evolve it, we at the association, and Jamie and I in particular, are really looking at growing the diversity of strategic partners towards advancing our goals and providing social impact. So we are hoping in the next year or two to really develop opportunities for organizations that really want to focus on the business to consumer relationship and working with gardens to activate things that might be happening during Go Public Gardens Days that could drive sales or other leads, get products into the hands of others, and provide a win-win-win across that board. So we're planting this seed with you because we know that while many of our corporate members are very much industry-based, industry-focused, business to business, we are growing our number of partners beyond to provide more opportunity for them to look at how to reach visitors and beyond. The other thing on this slide that we wanted to share with you is that in the last year or so, we have partnered with our awareness initiative, a fundraising initiative that we have been fortunate in this past year during the COVID pandemic to have a willing partner. For example, PlantSnap offered to showcase our donation form on their app to help gardens in need. And we structured it so that people could designate a garden to support. And as a result of that, we received about 300 donations from people we've never heard from who wanted to support public gardens, either individual garden or the association, and just sort of validate the work we do. It was a very great way to cross-promote and also align with our mission to grow public gardens. So we are rolling out this companion campaign along with that awareness initiative and inviting gardens to participate. But also we'll probably ask many of our corporate members if they are willing to cross promote the initiative to support gardens. So you will hear more about this a little bit later in the spring.
Great. Now Joan's going to tell us also a little bit about some important program initiatives and 9,700 Strong.
So just to back up, about a year ago, we put the finishing touches on the 2024 strategic plan, which is very ambitious for us to grow substantially as an organization, but also to really focus on our impact and take us in these other directions and provide opportunities for investment externally. So there's a couple things in the works that we'll be talking about in a minute. But what I wanted to do is look at a less transactional way of working with our industry partners and more of a way to say, what do you care about advancing? What is the association doing that you really like to support and want to align with to strengthen your brand? And a few of the things that we've been really busy with this year are going to lend themselves very well to opportunities to align with these. And the first is the Sustainability Index Project, which has been something in the works for a little bit as we've built out the curriculum. And it's essentially, it's a 12 attribute program that helps gardens start to work on their sustainability goals in various aspects of their organization. And we're at that point now where we're hoping to incentivize gardens to complete those attributes and achieve greatness so that they can turn around and show their stakeholders that they've achieved that, or meet internal goals. So one of those initiatives is for me to look at companies really looking to reinforce their shared value of sustainability, and how can we partner to help gardens reach milestones in their sustainability journey. The second thing is disaster planning resources, which is essentially taking our Garden to Garden Disaster Response Center a step further to really get up ahead of readiness for disaster planning. And we've gotten some initial support from the Stanley Smith Horticultural Trust to begin that journey. But now we are rolling out with a lot of programming and other resources that is a much more robust package of resources to provide to our gardens to help them in that journey for readiness. And so there's another opportunity where for those that are aligned with this type of area, there might be opportunities to look at aligning, sponsoring, supporting, publishing, co-authoring or supporting the outputs that we do for this. And the third area that's also aligned with our strategic plan is leadership development. There's been a lot of discussion at the board level about how we develop leadership at all levels, but especially executive leadership development, especially in these areas of crisis management and change management. So as we are developing curriculum, there are also, the greater picture is how do we develop our pipeline of professionals in our industry? And how can companies think about aligning with workforce development or leadership? And how can we position you attractively so that you're supporting us in our efforts to reach out to our members and give them the resources they need, and also elevate your importance as a champion of that. The other thing I wanted to mention about these fundraising campaigns is that, first of all, for any of you who supported us this past year, when we converted from an in-person to a virtual conference, we made a very important decision to help demonstrate our ability to support our members who we know are going to be going through a lot of financial hardship short term as they rebuild. And we pivoted, to use that word, your support, or about 50% of the support of our corporate partners, to be champions in the 9,700 Strong campaign, which essentially said our 9,700 members need to be supported. And this fund really helped us be very responsive in providing technology, resources, and do support where they have needed it. And so the fact that we took our corporate membership and our corporate sponsors and other partners and said, keeping your support strong this year is going to mean so much to our members, to see that you've stepped up and become a champion in philanthropy. As part of that, we want to make sure that you're positioned well with our institutional members. So to be able to find opportunities to be philanthropic champions goes a long way, as you know, to be true partners as members in common spirit with our industry. And that we have opportunities throughout this year in one or two campaigns, one I've mentioned already, to perhaps help us in our effort to raise those funds. So we provide these as food for thought as we engage with all of you in the coming year.
Great. So one final project we're taking on this year is redesigning our website, and we are very excited. We're planning to give the site an updated look and feel, incorporate newer web technologies, make it easier to navigate, condense existing content, and allow users to better differentiate between member-centric website areas and those for the general public. By redesigning, we're hoping to elevate the role of our corporate industry partners by looking at digital advertising options and enhancements to the provider directory that I showed you. One of our goals with the project is to draw significant traffic for external facing messaging and fundraising campaigns, and build strong name recognition for the association as well. So what now? I know that we threw a lot out there, but I wanted to let you know that we will be sending an email out to you with information on all the opportunities that we just highlighted. You can also go directly to our website to find out more now. And if you have any questions or want to connect one-on-one, you can feel free to reach out to me directly. We would also appreciate it if you could take just a couple minutes and some point today to complete a short survey on how we can help you partner with us in the future. And I'll send that link out in the email too. And then we just wanted to open it up to see if anybody has any questions. We'd also love to open the floor for an open discussion as well, just to give you all some time to provide feedback on how we can work together. So I'll put up a few discussion questions, and I'd love if you could turn on your video if it's not already on and speak up. So first off, are there any questions from anyone, or does anyone want to talk about any of the opportunities that they found most intriguing?
Yeah, I'll ask a question, Jamie. Your question, I mean, what you're bringing up was the idea of being a champion. Do you want to, for some of the other options, you kind of define a sense of budget associated with what that means, or, and you're like, I'm not sure I understand, like if you wanted to either, I don't know, can you champion a program or a student, or like, is there, what kind of tiers do you have to be a champion, and whether for a small firm it's something that you can even reach to it or not really?
Yeah, Joan, do you want to take that question?
Why, sure, Jamie, I would love to take that question. It depends on if what is being supported, if it's in alignment with a strategic goal plan, we would love for the resulting package that is developed between the industry partner and ourselves to be one where we can point to the fact that you're supporting, there are benefits that are being accrued to you, but that, you know, a portion of it is being earmarked as a donation or a contribution towards that. so that we can say you've got that skin in the game in being a philanthropic partner in furthering those goals too. And we don't have necessarily the laundry list for those, but we can point out as some of these programs are developing, how how championing you in that process becomes important, and where you're going to see that next iteration of that is in our April issue of Public Garden Magazine, which we've begun to do a philanthropic report. And we're going to begin to showcase who those champions are for this past summer's 9,700 Strong campaign. So we want to make sure you have a footprint in the philanthropic part of how you're advancing the association, as well as some of that more sponsorship and transactional nature of content you're receiving in consideration of the dollar value that you're bringing in to us.
Great. Well, thank you. I'll follow up maybe more individually. Thank you.
I think one of the most important realizations that Jamie and I had when we went virtual with our conference is that we could unhook a lot of content from our conference and create freestanding opportunities to deliver content outside of the footprint of the conference at different times of the year. So I'll give you a few examples of how that worked. We are starting to nurture garden board members as a member group, and Susan Detweiler, who's on this session with us, helped develop that curriculum that was embedded with the conference. And when we went virtual, we unhooked that, and now we're doing a monthly series of content for garden board members, which has a sponsor associated with it. Conversely, we've been able to take an opportunity to create a Bartlett webinar series in which Bartlett was actually creating or delivering content once a month for 3 months on special topics that were advancing the industry, but were also being delivered by that company too. So that's a larger group of content that is like a series of corporate workshops in a way. So I wanted to get your opinion on this evolution that we're providing to our industry partners, to say, is that of interest to you, or do you like the idea of living outside of a conference footprint, or do you really like that conference footprint and would like to remain in that, or both?
Hi, Natasha, from Connecticut. How you doing?
Hi.
I mean, I think there's always opportunities for both, right? I mean, the conference footprint is such a broad, large, far-reaching medium for everybody involved. So that is on one level, and then taking it down to a more micro level where you're targeting various groups and speaking to specific goals is also of value. So I think some kind of a balance between the two makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'll just say hi to everybody from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm sure everybody knows about the Missouri Botanical Garden. We have an amazing garden here. I would actually, in addition to the recording today, could I actually get a separate copy of the slides?
Sure. Absolutely.
Probably it's just a little easier to look at those separately. That would be really great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to send that.
And bring on the warm weather, please. It's cold here.
Right.
So I have one more question, Jamie and John. So one of the beauty of the conference, like when we all get together and if you're presenting, you know, there's always that time after you present to kind of, that's where you socialize and those things. And that's very hard to, I mean, I haven't found an online way of doing
virtual, right?
But like I presented this last, and after I got a few emails or follow up, but it's just not to the level of interaction. And I just wonder, like for, institution like ours, like designers, whatever, you know, there was the design session and where you have sometimes a show and different work exhibited. So are you guys coming up with different formats for this year, being a virtual conference again, where you get the chance in some ways to virtually commingle? I don't know how you do it, but like I want to know like how do you get to, because what I've noticed is that sometimes some gardens, they want to approach us and they're kind of not sure how to ask their questions and things about planning, all those things. And so what kind of format could we create where people will feel compelled to just sign in and very casually ask questions? And I feel like sometimes it's amazing, like when you sit on a bus with someone, you can share so much information. And I feel like this year, I feel like people are totally burned out of Zoom and I don't see how we can connect, and that's 2 years in a row. And I don't know if you guys came up with something brilliant. I know you always do something brilliant, so I can't wait to hear.
Thank you, Emmanuel. That's a nice compliment.
Yeah, we're definitely in the planning stages of trying to figure out what pieces we can implement in the virtual conference this year that maybe were lacking last year. And I know the topic of networking or kind of more fun little events or things here and there we can add in between sessions. So we're certainly open to feedback. If anybody, I'm curious if anybody's been to any virtual events this year where there was something fantastic that you found or something that you really didn't like. Just in our planning phase, it would be good to hear about your experience and if there's anything you would suggest we do or not do.
Okay, so one thing just popped to mind. Possibly with individual communities in very small distancing groups, maybe they could together attend the conference in, say, an outdoor setting with a big screen, maybe something like that. I mean, the symphonies have done this, where they select only very limited numbers of people from the orchestra, who are distant and have a limited, very, very limited attending audience. Sorry about the dog barking. But maybe that's a way, maybe that's kind of a compromised temporary way for people to be in person to at least a small extent.
Great.
And to that point, Joe, maybe it's not one event that's pulls in the whole US, but maybe you divide it up geographically into different sections. So whatever, NYBG hosts an event, different botanical garden hosts a third event, so that you have multiple things happening at the same time where you could do such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I attended a virtual conference this year, which had the unusual setup of when you joined the conference, you were automatically placed at what they called a table. And there were about 8 people at the table that were randomly being put there. You could move from table to table as if you were hopping tables because you saw somebody at another table, but it was actually done virtually, and you could have conversations with the people at that table, or you can go join a friend that was at another table. I think the preparation for the attendees, they did have people, they did offer a short video for how to take advantage of these capabilities. But I thought it was very effective. I ended up talking with people at the table that I had not met before.
That sounds pretty cool, Susan, actually.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It was very cool. It was the DANA, Delaware Alliance for Nonprofit Advancement. They actually also sent out a small packet of coffee and a cookie to everybody who had pre-registered.
That's now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we know. We had a very a great brainstorming, and the equivalent that we were joking around about that related to Susan, your format, and Joe was the sensation of sitting on a bus next to somebody, we're not quite sure who we end up sitting next to the bus with on the way to a garden tour or that evening's event. But that idea of just sort of, those random conversations, or in a way, perhaps a more structured, strategic way of doing that. But yeah, we've been trying to replicate. We can't obviously replicate all of those great experiences, but that was lacking last year. But it was a short turnaround for us to do that. But it's certainly on our plates this year to work on the interactive experience.
I can get you the contact person over at Dana. I think she's still there, of who created, just so you can have a conversation.
Okay, thank you. Has anyone else experienced other? We both Jamie and I and our staff did a lot of virtual event lurking to try to crack that nut of interactive. So has anyone else experienced something that seemed to work?
Games and alcohol usually help.
That's on our list for sure.
Forget sending out coffee, little airline things of vodka.
Yeah.
Sending vodka, got it.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, I've found that conversation can be a lot easier in smaller breakout groups, kind of like what Susan had mentioned. In a big forum, it gets a little intimidating to unmute and say your piece. But with 5 to maybe 8 people, you can really get a good conversation going, and I've found that to be very helpful.
Great.
Wonder if there's anything that could be set up as far as questions to get something going along those lines, because like right now, I'm like, what do you say? Something that just stirs up, or if gardens have questions that they could ask designers, or vice versa, or something like that, just to kind of get those little forums going and have something to actually talk about.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And that's where games come in, because it starts to engage you on a personal level. So as soon as you have to participate, it becomes a different dynamic. But yeah, whether it's prompted questionnaire or some kind of form, which is, a fun way of putting those questions online. I agree. It's like you need something to start up, get the fire going.
Right.
More than alcohol, right?
Yeah.
I experienced one session where they first put us into pairs, just 2 people randomly, and then put 2 pairs together, and then put 2 quads together. And there was something to talk about that we were all talking about. But what it meant is that you can't hide it because you started with 2 people. And once you've started talking with one other person, it's easier to talk with more people because you now know somebody, even if it's just for those 5 minutes. And it starts creating more of a bonding amongst the larger group by doing it 2s, 4s, 8s, etc.
So I'm interested that the table concept sounds wonderful. Was there something set up in there to where after a certain period of time it just automatically switched and you were thrown into a different table with other people, or was it all voluntary?
That one was volunteer. I think it could be set up that you would be automatically switched, but this was in between sessions. Mm-hmm. So you came out of one session, or when you first joined the event, you were placed at a table, and then the session started and you would go to the one that you had signed up to go to. And then in between sessions, there may be another 10-minute period and you went back into the larger conference room where there were all these tables. But I'll bet it could be set up that it could be random.
That does sound like a great way to get that interaction that happens between sessions at an actual conference into a virtual one.
Yeah, I wonder if you could even set it up. I don't know if it's possible. If you could even set it up that you would say, let's continue this conversation after the next session. I'll meet you at table XYZ or something like that. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I've
We
seen
can-
those building blocks for our conference just starting. And one of the things we went into this year with was create more breathing room in between those sessions. So we want opportunities for that open dialogue or informal connection.
And I actually like the idea of starting out with the one-on-one conversations, because it is a different rapport that you establish when you're just communicating with one person versus a group. So to begin it and create that bond that you talked about, I think that's a great idea, because that in a way replicates the bus experience, right?
Very much.
Where you're in a captive audience and you're just talking to one person. And so I think if that could be folded in, that's a great idea.
Great.
Taking lots of notes here.
Actually, the size of this was really wonderful and comfortable as a way of engaging with new people. So that's something maybe to learn there, right there. That's a pretty nice scale. Afterward as well, it's so good to see everybody. Wish everybody a great new year. Be healthy. Take care.
Yes,
I do want to
Happy
add.
New Year.
I do want to add that Jamie is going to be the new liaison for the design and planning community and the arts and exhibition community.
Okay.
That joint symposium, which had been on the books, is right now the only one that is back on deck to be now an in-person symposium. We hope by the late fall.
Good. That's good to hear.
Great.
Fingers crossed.
Stay tuned.
Good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you everyone for your
Thank you.
Nice
participation.
meeting you, everybody.
Thank
be
you so
there, Jamie.
much.
Bye-bye.
Good day.
Bye-bye.